Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Toju and you are watching TM Creatives. So welcome back guys. First of all, I want to apologize as I did not release any content that was on Sunday because my plan is to always release new content every Sunday. The reason is because I had exams to do, so there was a lot I need to take care of. But I mean, I'm done and done and dusted, as they always say. So here we are today, and I promise you to release. I'm releasing I'm releasing two contents this week. So I'm still going to release one on Sunday. This is just to make up for my delay because I mean a learning process such as design is not something you just take a break from, except maybe you are the one that has been going to practice the previous videos that I've done, and I want to appreciate those who actually reached out to me to ask, oh, I didn't know new contents that are coming up, but yeah, here we are today, and I'm back because I know exams have been holding me, but I'm here and I'm ready to give you guys a follow-up on everything we'll be doing. So from our last class, we spoke about intro to the design tools, and we spoke about and that was the part 1 session. So today we'll continue on the part 2 session of it, and in today's class we're going to be looking at the pixel persona. Remember, if you remember very well, if you remember very well in our last class, we spoke about the design persona, right? So today we'll be talking about the pixel persona, we'll be talking about the export persona, then also we'll be doing a logo. While in my next content, I mean, depending on how, what we're able to cover from this class, but I'm assuring that in our next class, in our next session after this, that's the next video I'll release on Sunday after this, we'll be talking more on branding identity, because it is something that is very needed. It's something that I feel as beginners you should know how to package a logo to make it look professional and very expensive, because what you need to tell maybe your future clients or customers is that a logo is not just simply creating circle and doing this and doing that. A logo is much more than that, and we'll be talking about that. But one of the things I want to say about branding is that branding is a particular person, right, in a business format or in a professional format. How people perceive you, how people perceive your ideas, the ideas in your head. One look at your brand should tell people what you are all about, what that business, what that brand is all about. You should tell people at a glance what it's all about. So what can actually do that? That is where we come up with branding documentation and things like that, because these documentations, this content, this particular designs that will be inside, they tell a story. They tell a story about the brand. They tell a story about the products that brand is selling. They tell a story about every single thing, even about the person that has the brand. So it says a lot. It's not just you creating a logo from a free platform and bringing it and using it. It's more than that, and it is very important to let people know that, because some people feel, oh, I can just go and do this myself, or I can pay somebody like a lower price, maybe a lower price than, let's say, lower than the average rating which designers collect for a logo or for a branding. Because if you are doing a logo, you are doing branding. You understand? When someone says do a logo for me, just know they are doing branding for that person, especially if it's a business that the person is just starting, or a client is just starting. You need to let them know that, see, you don't want them to come, like, you don't want maybe a situation whereby in the next few years to come, after they've done their own way of coming up with a logo, they will now come and start looking for someone else that will do it again, and they will pay for it. So why not just get it once and get it right? So that's just one thing you need to know about logos. And like I said, we'll be working on we'll be working on pixel persona. Under pixel persona, it gives us the ability to manipulate images. It gives us the ability to take out what we want from this image, put it here. I'm still going to teach more on photo manipulation later on in class, but I want us to get the hang of this first. I want to teach the basics before I move on to the advanced level. So, like I said, pixel persona is used to like manipulate images and help us to like help us to like edit images basically, you know. So like I said, you know, Affinity Designer is not just a design tool. It does a lot, you know. But funny enough, they still have like a sister or a brother software called Affinity Photos that does mainly focuses on editing of photos. But they try as much as possible to put some of those features in the design software because they know that as designers, you know, we will want to like maybe manipulate some pictures here and there. So I'll be teaching more on that. I'll be teaching more on layers, effects, effects, layers, adjustments. Those parts I'll be looking into them today also, you know. So, and I'll at the end of the class I will do as much as possible to give a small assessment for you guys to do, and I believe it will help you, you know, because I feel you need to practice. Practice makes perfect, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be switching over to my screen, and we'll get started. So please stay with me and don't go anywhere. And let's move on to the screen and see what we have to do today. Thank you. So here's my screen. As you can see, this is the this is what we picked up from the last time. I know we did a lot of random stuff, but today we're going to actually give our project more life, you know. I did actually save our last project, so I had to just create something new again. So there we are. So in our last class, I spoke about designer persona, then I spoke about layer. So today I want to speak about pixel persona, export persona. Then in our last class too, I spoke about all this file, edit, layer, and the rest, you know. Then I mentioned that whenever you click on any object here, all the properties for that object comes here to this line. So don't forget that. You can always watch my previous video in case you are still lost. So today I'll be talking about pixel persona, then I'll be talking about effects, I'll be talking about styles, you know, and I'll be talking about this stock images part here. I don't know if you are seeing this. That's text style. There's no really need to bother yourself about this. Let us focus on what I said. So we're focusing on pixel persona, we're focusing on effects, we're focusing on styles and stock. No, so then we're going to create a logo today. So now for designer persona, if you know, I mentioned designer persona was built. All the tools here you are seeing from designer persona, they are totally different from what you are seeing for pixel persona, because pixel persona, the tools there were made to actually work on either converted images or curved images, or basically images, anything images. That's what pixel persona works on. As the word says, pixel. When you hear pixel, you hear of pictures, right? So that's what this particular part does, right? So that's what this particular part is doing for us. So let's go further. So the very first thing we're going to do is look at how we can use each of those tools. Now, if you notice, right, the tools for designer persona is different from what you are seeing for pixel persona. So don't mix them up, you know. So the very first tool we have here is the move tool, right? The move tool is a regular tool, you know, right? I've spoken about that several times. Then we have what they call rectangular mark tool. Now this is different. If you notice, the icon is different. It's still all these shapes, they want to resemble like a regular shape from your designer persona, but they are not your regular day-to-day shape we are seeing. So now let me explain what these shapes do. These shapes, right, they actually take depending on the kind of image you are putting, right, they work as a form of crop tool, but in a special way, whereby they take the shape of that certain mark tool you've clicked. So if I clicked on rectangular, so I'm just going to demonstrate it. So let's go ahead to pick any image from your system. So I'm just going to pick I need something more epic. So let's do this image. So now we have this image, right? A lady with a lady with a shopping bag. I mean, that's the image I have. You can always get any image from the system. I'm also going to like post links of places you can get free stock images, because one thing about the internet, one thing about design is that you're gonna need images, work on images a lot. So we have this image. I don't want to stretch out more than this, but let me just do this so it takes the full screen, right? So we have this image of this lady. Now we want to just take this lady's face. How do we go about that? In a rectangle form. So the first thing we do is we click on rectangular mark tool, then just left click and drag, right? You can see that it's taking the shape, right? So when I do this, once you've done that, nothing has happened yet, but that line will not go away. And let's say you've made a mistake and you want that line to go away, you can press Ctrl D. Ctrl D takes it away. But in this case, we want to just extract something from here. So, and also you can move this shape anywhere. So no matter where you move it to, you can always extract the thing that is only within that border, the border of the rectangle, where the rectangle stuff is just highlighting. So we'll come to our face. Then after we do that, we then come to refine. You see all these properties, like I said, all these tools, right? All their properties come in this line. Don't forget, please. Don't forget, it's just above the above your project name. So when you click on refine, right? When you click on refine, this is what will happen. So from here, we can actually like smoothen it out if we want to. These are just like to make smoothing it out or to rough it up. So you can see that as I'm putting smooth, it's trying its possible best to like give us like a form of border radius for us to take it away, So yeah, that's what that one does. For border width, it just adds more. Think of it as border width. Think of it as a stroke or some sort of stroke, but we don't need it. So you can always like take it down. I always take my own down. So we just need our face, right? So then after we've done this, I mean, it's okay the way it is. You can even come here. So now, if you click on this matte tool, I'm pretty sure you'll not see any difference, but there's a difference. The difference is that look very closely at the edge of this border of the shape you are putting, right? When I untick the matte edges, it makes it clearer, so you're able to see what you are clicking. So I think it's better for us to have it in a clear way. Now I'm going to explain the output. The output you are seeing here is how we want to, the kind of way we want to output our images. Then you come here where you have preview. Preview is more like you are setting it to different things. So I mean, you're able to like see it clearly that okay, that's what you're picking. There's no difference there at all. So you just to know what you're picking. So let us leave it as overlay. So if we now come to output, this output, right? What it does is that it just gives us a different way we can output this. So there's something we call a mask. So when you click on mask, I want us to do it one by one. When you click on mask, let's see what happens. Mask just brings out the lady immediately, but it masks the remaining parts into. There's something we call mask, right? Mask is more like you are hiding something that you don't want people to actually see. So it's not as if the full image is gone, right? She's still there, just that she's just cropped a bit, because you've noticed it's just showing mask. It's not as if she's like a real like this is not like a real layer yet, right? So that's not what we are looking for. Or rather, that's not what I go for most times. So what we're just going to, let's just press Ctrl Z. Then come back again to refine. Then you can still like adding the smooth side and everything. Click on this. So basically, the one I pick actually is the new layer, because we're creating a new layer no matter what. That's what we're trying to do. So we create a new layer. Now you can see that it brought it out as a pixel, as a layer. This is like a layer on its own. You understand? So, but whenever you do that, sometimes whenever you click on OK, after you've clicked on new layer, sometimes your actual picture, this picture disappears and shows your new cropped, your selected box picture, and sometimes it stays. So, but if your own is still staying like my own, all you have to do is just like delete the one that is down. But in this case, I'm just going to hide it. So you can hide whatever you want in your layer, your layer, right? To do that, you see this this point you are seeing at the extreme end, when my mouse is pointing to. Just come here and left click. So you've toggled that. You've hidden that already. No, people don't need to see that. It's just the actual selected one. So this is what we have, right? So this is what we have, and we've done that already. So the same applies for circle, right? The same applies for circle. So let's do circle, and just for those who have no time. So I'm just going to keep this somewhere. Let's go to keep this somewhere. So just click on the actual image again, then come to circle. This is the elliptical mark tool. So the elliptical mark tool is just, it comes it out in a circular form, right? So please always remember that in the circular form. Oh, sorry, didn't do it well. Let's just cut it. Okay, so this is it. So I'm just gonna bring it close to our face. So you can imagine you're trying to do like a LinkedIn a LinkedIn or Instagram profile picture. You know, this alone has helped you. So we're going to click on refine. So you can always do the same thing here, just to give it a more flesh. New layer. So that's it, right? So we're always making sure that we do the right, we get the right tools and everything. So then we have for row mark tool. Well, to be honest, I don't use the row mark tool. I don't use it at all. Like I said, you know, there are other tools that will still carry out the same function. You know, what row mark tool does is that it just this one does not even deal with the picture entirely, but it does deals with a certain row. So let's even see what it does. So when you come on new layer, let's see what it will give us. Well, it's basically not so useful like that. So yeah, most times you might not really need to, you won't even have the need for row mark tool and column mark tool. You won't have any use of them. So I think the way they work, they have to work with probably the same way. If I do a row here, right, then maybe I do a column. So same thing. I don't know what this column mark tool does, but I mean, it's not something I use, and it's not something I feel you will use, right? So let's continue. So like I said, that is what the rectangular mark tool does. It helps us to cut or to select the starting area we want in an image. It helps us to extract it in that shape given. Then we have for elliptical mark tool, which helps us to create a circle border and select our image in that to contain that circle. You know, then these other ones too, which we don't really use. Then we also have what they call freehand selection tool. So remember I said the rectangular mark tool and elliptical mark tool, what they do is they help us to select a particular area in an image in their designated shapes. But free mark tool is different. Free mark tool is like freestyle, you know. So this one, you are not really bothered about the borders or anything. So you have something like this. Let's say I want to select this lady. I do something like this. I draw it. Freehand mark tool. This is what it does. See, just keep on dragging till you get to where you want to. So make sure that all the points still connects together. Like as I've started the point, I make sure that I end the point here. Can you see this? So I didn't know where I'm selecting here. So I just come to refine. Then hide this. So it's not that smooth. So I just need to smoothen it out. You can see that the smooth tool helps us to smooth those edges. You know, because my one was rough. You've noticed my edges were rough before. Can you see? So, but when I increase the smoothness, it gets better. So yeah, this is fine. Then we come to new layer, then apply. So you can see this. It has taken the lady out, and you know. So like remember what I said, that sometimes when you select that new layer and click on OK, right? Sometimes the actual image disappears. Sometimes it doesn't, but If your actual image is still there, just come to hide it so you can see what you have done. Or you can even check this your layer. So if you click on OK, just looking at your layer, you see that something new will appear on your layers here. So make sure your layer, think of your layer as your monitoring system. They're able to see things that are inside your layers. Maybe there are things that you brought in by mistake. You're able to know, you're able to see it, you're able to control it. That's what your layer does. It's like a monitoring. Think of it as a monitoring panel where you can actually see everything that is on your workspace. You know, that's what it does. So we have this. So so far we have these three, right? So you know, this is for Mark tool. This is for rectangular Mark tool. This is for elliptical Mark tool. This is for freehand tool. Now we're coming to the one I like to use very well. So the one I like to use very well, right? It's called. What I like to use very well is called it's called the selection brush tool. So selection brush tool, right? The way it works now, you can see that my mouse or my mouse icon has reduced. It's very tiny. So remember what I said in our last class. You can increase this by pressing close brackets, close curly braces. Yeah, close curly braces. So this is it. So if you press open curly braces, you reduce it. Close curly braces, you increase it. So this is it, right? So now what this one helps us to do, the reason I like this tool, the reason this is my best selection tool is because this one selects the actual image itself. So if your image is very sharp, if your image, just know that the sharper your image, right, the clearer it will know where to pick. You know, because this tool actually works with pixels. So depending on how sharp your pixels are, that is how sharp it will actually pick it. You know, in your image. So we're picking all this. Then now mind you, let's say if you made a mistake, let's say I select something out here, right? As I'm selecting this part right here, I don't like. I want to select it down to our fingers, not mixed with the yellow background. So what I do is I hold Alt, just hold Alt, then left click on that area again, so to take it inside. Then we can release if you want to now increase it again. That's how it works. Alt and left click is to take it in, right? So wherever now, notice that wherever you see this, now all the areas that this is my line, this is my dotted line that is shaking, my selection tool that is all the lines that I have highlighted now, that is the part that is going to extract for us. So you know what that means? It means that we're extracting this lady from this yellow background. So this is what is going to happen now. So let me select everything. So when I now come to refine, I didn't select a card. She can't be reading. So, yeah, so this is it. So when I now go to refine, so you can see this, right? You can come to, if you just want to see, then come to new layer. So in case there are areas that you have not looked at, you can also zoom in, control plus to zoom in. Then you can come here to maybe do some other extras, but it doesn't really matter, because the trick is that not everybody will be able to see this at a glance, but you can always get rid of it if you want to. So let me just do that so that we get the idea. So that as I'm doing like this, I'm holding Alt, right? I'm holding Alt and I'm reducing and doing what I need to do. So that is it. So this one now means that wherever this part is outside like this, now it means that it's going to select only the red side. So I've excluded the other side. You can see if I move it in like this, I selected that part. But if I hold Alt and do like this, it knows where it's selecting. So now let's refine this again. So refine the come to new layer. So my original image is still there, so I cannot hide it. So you see this. So as it is like this now, we can put her in a different background if we want. You can come here to click on the artboard like this, then come to fill. Then so I change this to color wheel. Then you come here, you can put her in different backgrounds if you want, right? So it's very nice, This is what I use the most whenever I want to design. Maybe there's a particular design I'm doing, and I need to make sure that 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 I'm able to manipulate the design, maybe put a different picture somewhere and everything. So I use this tool a lot for photo manipulation because it helps. Then we have this, that selection brush tool, right? Then we have what they call flood selection, sorry, flood select tool. Sorry about that, flood select tool. Yeah. So what flood select tool does is this. Let's hide this one, right? Let's put the original image. So what flood selection tool does is this. When you click on flood selection tool, now remember our select tool, what it does is that it helps us to pick those edges automatically, right? But flood selection tool does it in a very fast way, but at the same time it could make mistakes. So let's do that now. If you have selected your flood selection tool, you should see something like this icon I'm seeing on my screen with my mouse. So when I click it once, supposed to, oh sorry, we've not, oh sorry about that, it is my fault, we've not selected our image. So make sure that you are highlighting on the image that you're trying to work on. So if I select it now, can you see this? Just something, that area, just select it randomly. This one does not even look at the pixels where exactly it wants. So it's not like very clear. I don't really use it that much, I don't use this tool at all. I just stick to the selection brush tool because it's precise and it's faster. But this is it's faster, but it can only select one particular place at a time, and it will just select it randomly. But I think you can always increase it. You can always increase it. So yeah, so basically that's just it. So let's click on add. So yeah, you can see this. So depending on the one that you're okay with, so just use it, and the one you're okay with, you pick it. So, but I'm not going to really use this for anything. So you can just press Ctrl D to remove all those things. Then the next one that we have is the pixel tool. The pixel tool is a tool that I don't really use, right? I don't really use it that much. So what it does is it just creates maybe add. I think what it does is it adds more pixels. It adds more pixels to your images, but more like, think of it as like a brush tool basically. But these are maybe for people that are artistic. Maybe there's a particular drawing they've done and they're just trying to add more flesh and more quality to it. They use the exact color and go with the flow. So it doesn't really say much because I don't really use it. So the next one we have is the paintbrush tool. So the paintbrush tool, right? It's your regular tool like this. So it's not so far fetched from the brush tool from the designer persona. They still somehow carry the same thing. So, but yeah, that's what it does. You get that? This one, I mean, like something about them affinity designers that they just try to be consistent with some of the things. Probably they don't know what. I think what happened is that they probably did not have any idea on what new tool to add. And remove this one away. But since we already have it, we already have something close to that in designer persona, which is called like maybe the pencil tool or the vector brush tool. Same thing, So just imagine that one as your pixel brush tool, So that's how it is. Vector and pixels, two different things. Vector is for something you created, right? Something you created from scratch, something that is editable. But pixel is not really editable. You can't really edit it. All you can do is make it better. It's like images, That's it. So the next thing we have right now is the erase brush tool. I use this a lot. Now let me show you where areas in which I use it. So I want to just do a bit of photo manipulation here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick another image. So let's try and add this guy. Should we try it? Let's try and add this guy to this picture. This guy, right? So I'm going to use the erase brush tool here. But the first thing we have to do, let's extract this guy from this picture. So what we're going to do is come to select brush tool first, right? Then we come here, we select all about the guy, everything about him. So we can have something to work with. So sadly, because it's wearing white, we're not able to really see so much over there, but we can just zoom in. Make a many mistakes, so I'll just press Alt. So just picking everything about him. Picking here. So I think we have something. Okay, so all these other areas. Make sure, please, if you are selecting any image, don't just select it anyhow. Just try and make sure that you've picked at least 95% of what you are doing, because trust me, you really want to make sure that you are as clean, you are selecting the person as clean as possible, to avoid any kind of mistakes, So come here, make this place like this. So we've done this. I think it's better. I think his shoulders are okay, right? So we just come here, click on his belt. Let's do something like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on refine as usual. Okay, I refine. We can see that we have some bubbles here, some errors here. So we can easily correct that. I will correct that using the erase brush tool. So let's click on new layer. So it's extracting. Okay, fine. Okay, it extracted the guy. So photo manipulation might not be so much. So remember, you're going to do the same thing for this girl, this picture. But since I already have something like that, I'm just going to hide this guy's own. So I'm just going to hide this original picture of this lady. Come up with the picture of this one, right? Then we can now shrink her like this, and like this. So now something like this. So we can actually, so now I want to make use of the erase brush tool. Now remember I said this part is a bit off, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the erase brush tool. Now the erase brush tool, right, what it does is it helps you to clean images, like literally clean images like this, But me now, I've already made adjustment to my own, because I've used it before. So I've made adjustment to my own before. So what I'm just going to do is this. I'm going to put it back to 100%. When it's on 100%, you totally erase whatever it is you are trying to erase. But what I want to do is make it faint. I don't want to go and erase this guy's actual body by mistake. So what I'm just going to do is, you can do it like this, and sometimes it can be clean, sometimes it will not be clean. But most times it's not always clean when your stuff is at 100%, when your eraser is at 100%. So what you do is this: you come to hardness, reduce hardness to, like, let's say 30, reduce flow to 30. So what all these things do is that it helps to reduce the power of the eraser, so that you don't reduce. Just imagine it's like you, like, maybe you are writing an exam, right, and you are using a pencil. When you make that mistake, there are sometimes that you're not trying to erase everything. You're just trying to erase something small. So you apply this small pressure. That's where this tool works. This tool works like all these properties. They work as the pressure, as the eraser pressure, or whatever it is you are doing. So you can see that now I'm adding it. Just keep on left clicking to take away all those areas. Make sure you look closely and make sure you are doing it. So and ensure that whatever it is you are doing, make sure you are lighting it here. You get before you do it, because if you don't click on anything, the tool will not work. The tool needs to select something. You need to select something first for those tools to work on it. So just carefully just clean whatever it is we can clean. So you see that because we're just working on the guy, we're not cleaning this lady's card. So I just want to do something like this. I can see that it's better a bit now. This is better now. Yeah, it's better. But the guy is growing too much, making him look like one like an angel. Right? Yeah, of course you cannot really tell. But this is it. So this is it. Although this is not for photo manipulation. I just joined two photos together. I won't call that photo manipulation. Is where you cannot, like. Oh yeah, this is a bit of manipulation, because we took this guy out of the white background, we took this lady out of our yellow background, then we added them here. So yeah, that's fine. So that's what that eraser brush tool can do. So you always try to like reduce the hardness and everything so that you can carefully, remove that part. It does be very faint, And remember I said that some tools, they work the same way. So now let me show you something. Now let's say, now I want to show you that this eraser brush tool can do the same as the transparency tool, but just that transparency tool is much more cleaner and much more easier to use. I mean, easier, and it's less time consuming. So let's say that transparency tool. Remember our transparency tool, right? Let me go back there so we can recall. Transparency tool helps us to like, okay, because this now transparency tool cannot work on our new image here because this is no longer an image. This is a pixel, right? But if it's a regular image, it will work. This is a pixel, so it won't. Transparency tool will not work. But if we are using the actual image of the person and we do transparency tool, it will work. But now in the case whereby you're trying to now like maybe fade this woman, this lady, trying to fade that away, so like try to make like the bottom side here to fade away. So I want to try that. I want to do that. So go back to your pixel persona, click on eraser tool. Remember to make this thing big a bit. So just come here and voila. You can see this. So you can see it's a bit time consuming and stuff like that. So it's not something that's so you can see, so you can always take it back if you want. Just take it back, take it back, take it back, take it back. So that's just it. Then we have okay, so I've done the erase brush tool. So we have the flood fill tool. So this one works like your tool here. I think that's your fill tool. I think we have a fill tool here. A fill tool somehow works like that. So let's see what. So let me show you. Let me just demonstrate. When I click on the flood fill tool, so what it does is this. Let's select someone. So I'm going to select the guy. So can you see? So it helps us like color the image. So this alone is even a design already. So imagine I have something like this. I just make the guy big a bit. And do something like this. Let us make it just his face so his body does not really show. So just something like this. I mean, it's already looking nice like this. So what that flood tool does, it just helps to color whatever it is your pictures, While the fill tool helps to color the background, but the flood fill tool helps to color the image itself. You understand? That's what I'm saying. That's why I told you that pixel persona, it helps to just deal with manipulating and editing of images. That's what it does. So flood tool. So let's say you pick a different color. Let's pick something else. So let's say you pick a different color here. Let's say you pick green. Don't know why I like green, so it changes it to green. But now you have to now change this guy. So let's pick the guy again. Let me pick it. So you see this same thing. So that's what that tool does. So I hope you understand that. That's how I'm just try my best to demonstrate all the tools. So that's what it does. So the next one we have the dodge brush tool. So yeah, the dodge brush tool is for editing. This is actually what most of photographers use. They use this tool a lot. Dodge brush. They use burn tool. They use smudge brush. So I'm going to explain what they do. So now let's click on this image. Right, that's how I have to zoom in on the guys so that you see so that you have an idea of what the dodge brush tool does. So what it does is that it just helps to, and just like the way we have for eraser brush tool, all your properties, they try to you can increase the hardness so you can see more effects of what you're trying to do. So let me just increase the effects a bit to 100%. So this is dodge brush. You can see this. What it does is that it just helps to whitening our image. So for example, let's say photographers that take a picture, that they've taken a photo shoot in a very dull corner, they can actually use this tool. You understand? And it will help to maybe lighten their image a bit, just a bit. Maybe areas that they feel like, oh, this place needs to be lightened up a bit. So they can also reduce the power of the pressure of the smudge brush tool, right? So the dodge brush tool, sorry. Then they're able to get it So let's reduce this a bit so it doesn't. Let's try it on the other lady. You see what I'm talking about? So because I've reduced the power, if I increase the power now a bit, so that's basically it. I don't really make use of it that much, but I mean when I'm working on photo editing, I use it. So it just helps to like make the woman. Okay, oh sorry, I picked the wrong image. You can see what I'm trying to say now. Don't pick the wrong image. So you can see now. Pick from the wrong layer, you can see. So it just makes that those areas lighter. You know, so that's what that dodge brush tool does. So the next one we have on our list here is we have the burn brush tool. So the burn brush tool does the opposite of what the dodge brush tool does. So instead of making it lighter, I make it darker. So let's go to the other guy first. I mean, I think he's one that has it. You can see this. You can see this. I mean, it says a lot. I mean, I don't want to like use any strong word, but it says a lot, you know. So that's what it does. That makes it darker a bit. So you can make yourself more chocolate, you know. Maybe in a picture whereby if a photo editor is trying to do, and let's say the lady is not chocolatey enough, you know, in the picture, and just wants to like make some areas dark, you can use that tool. So the next tool that we have here, we have what they call the smudge brush tool. The smudge brush tool, it works like this is what most photographers use to hide all these pimples and the rest. So what do I mean by that? So let's see. So let's say this picture. No, this picture has already been edited already, so we have nothing to hide. But let's see, maybe for the guy, maybe there's something. So what it does, it just tries to clean up. You can see it's trying to clean up all those strands. You can see how amazing it is. It has cleaned up those strands. You won't even know that he has like strand of hair there before. Can you see? So you won't even know. So it just cleans out those strands of hair. You know, places that you don't really like want them to see. So that's how it works. So that's the smudge brush tool for you. So it's just someone like heals the parts that you don't want people to see. So let's say that this guy has like pimples now on his face, or he has freckles. You can still use this tool to like hide it. So that's what it does. You can also increase the strength, as I said. All those tools, they can increase the strength, the pressure of those brushes, and you get something different. So then we now have what they call the blur brush tool. So the blur brush tool helps to blur out anyone or any image. So let's say you have like an image and you just want one person to be sharp in the image and the other wants to be blurred. It's just messing up a bit. Okay, so this is, so I want to like blur this guy out, right? So it's on 100%, so I can just do like this. So blur, you can see that it's already blurring him out, right? But there's a faster way to even do this, and I'll show you an effect. Instead of which you just be using your brush, that blur brush to take a while before you can get the absolute kind of blur you're looking for. I'll show you a different trick on how to do that. Remember I said that, I mean, it's just amazing that all these tools, they have their own specific thing they are doing. So we come to smudge brush. Okay, we've done that. Blur brush, we've done that. Now this is my favorite tool, sharpen brush tool. Now this image is already sharp enough, so you can just like make it sharper. So let's click on this lady. So I can make it sharper, and don't forget, always try to reduce the pressure. But I want to give it more pressure so that you see how sharp the image will start looking. Can you see it's becoming sharper and sharper? You can see. So that's the beauty of sharpen brush tool. I love it so much. I like to use it, especially when I'm working on images that they've not like met up to my kind of quality picture I want. I use it a lot. So yeah, that's what that tool does. Then the next one we have is color picker. Same thing as on the other side, color picker. You already know what it does, so I won't explain it. Then we have the view tool, same thing. They also have the zoom tool, so same thing. So that is it for pixel persona tools, right? That's it for pixel persona tools. Then I want to explain the effects. Now remember all these things now, right? All these things we are doing here, right? Now I'm going to explain now. Remember, in my layer, I've clicked on the lady, so I'm going to give her some effects. So this one now we can come here, come to this fill opacity to reduce her out of it, you know, and can put her back. The first one we have the bevel and emboss. So this one just makes those edges sharp. When I mean sharp, like it just gives you this emboss feeling, you know. So if you want to see more on what you can do to for this effect, each of these effects they carry this icon at the far right of their own component. So if you click on layer effects, it does bring out everything. So you can see everything here. So because I've ticked on bevel and emboss, right? I'm able to see what I can do here. So you can go to inner, you know, you can just play around and see what you can get. So this bevel, they mostly use it to like maybe you are creating like maybe you're trying to create like a 3D design, a 3D thing of maybe like a furniture or something. You can always use it, you know, just to give it more flesh. That's what it does. So yeah, you can see this. So that's for bevel. Then we now have for outline. This outline works like a stroke. So you can do like this, you know. So you can come here and make it white, make it any color you want, you know. Then there's outside and there's outside, there's center, there's inside. So if you pick inside, instead of the stroke or the outline to be growing outside, it's not growing inside. So if you now start increasing it, you can see it's growing inside. So it's like hiding the woman away. But if you click on outside to go outside, you understand? That's how it works. If you go to center, so this one to just make sure that everything is focused at the center or something, you know. So you can see that's what it does. So that's for outline. Then we have 3D. 3D is if you want to change something to 3D. So this does not really work. It does not really work on images. It works on maybe vectors a lot, because you're able to like, give it a 3D kind of view, you know. But if you're doing like this, you cannot really see the 3D inside. It's just maybe small lighting here and there. But if you are doing for an object, you see it. Then we have the inner shadow. So the inner shadow is like it creates a shadow inside. Yeah, you might not be able to really see because of this, but yeah, okay, look at it, you can see it now. So it's creating the shadow inside, but this basically works well for objects, for shapes. Let me show what I mean by shapes. So let me just create a small shape form. Yeah, I create a small shape from here. Then I go to effects and I click on inner shadow. Right, now watch. Now I just have to increase everything. Can you see this? You can see that it's pushing in the stuff as if it's looking as if it's not looking like it's not giving in this 3D effect as if it's like a hole. If there's like a hole created here, you know, because of the shadow, inner shadow. That's what it does. You can see. So it's not looking as if this person maybe something that they cut out or something that you can push in, you know. So that's beauty about it. Then we now have what they call inner glow. So inner glow is like normally glow. You can glow an object, or you can glow anything, or you can glow somebody, you know. So I'm just going to work this on the image since we're talking about pixel persona. So let's come back to the effect. So if I click on inner glow, what it does it just creates this glowing effect around it, and depending on the color you use. So let's use, if you use something like orange or so, then you cannot pick, oh, is it the center or the edge? So I'm just working on the edges, right? So you can even try to like reduce the opacity so it doesn't become too much, you know. So things like that. You can see that the woman is glowing, she's glowing in orange, you know. So you just can do like this. You can come here and change the blend mode. So what this blend mode does is that it just finds a better way for you to blend your image to whatever it is you have on your background. That's what it does. So yeah, I use it a lot. So you can just play around with it and you see different results. You understand? So that's it. Then we have what they call the color overlay. So what this color overlay does is to just give this image a color. So meaning that we'll not see this lady again, right? I will just see something like this, like a silhouette. So people use this as like silhouette. This is like a silhouette on its own, you know. So you can change the color if you want, you know, to this, different things. You can even add this. You can see that This is what the color blend, the blend mode does. Just because we picked red, it will obviously give us this. Understand? So yeah. Then we have what they call gradient overlay. Same thing, but those are this one that adds more than one color. You know what gradient means? Gradient is like the mixture of more than one color to create something beautiful. So that's what gradient means. So you can do this, you can do this, right? So you have two colors. We have the red and we have the orange. So yeah, you can always play around with it like this. So you can measure something like this. And it's very nice, very very nice. So we have what they call the outer glow. As you know, we have inner glow and we have inner shadow. So also we have outer glow and outer shadow. So you go to outer glow, you're able to put it outside. You can see it's better like this. And you can make it orange or yellow. Let us make it yellow. So intensity can be like this. Videos, you can see. So you can always still play around with it, add. You can see. So it's looking nice. This outer glow is someone looking like stroke, but it's not stroke. It's just like, think of it as stroke that has been blurred out. So that's how it is. Because you can still achieve that with stroke actually. For example, if I want to use it without doing that effect, I can just come here and duplicate this image. So I duplicate this image, I bring it here. Then I'm going to now use I'm still going to get there. Don't let me rush that. I'm still going to get there. So we've done for outer glow. So we're doing for outer shadow now, right? So for outer shadow now, it just brings out the shadow outside. So this one still works well on pictures a lot, but you can still see it. You can see that there's a shadow outside. So that's what outer shadow does. Just give it outside and everything. So it's fine. Then my favorite tool is what they call the Gaussian blur. So remember I said that there's a faster way of doing that blur that we're trying to do. So the faster way is to do like this. Can you see? You can see it's totally hides that. So you just click on Gaussian blur and just increase this. So yeah, that has solved that already. So those are what this effect does. So this effect just gives you more things you can play around with for your object, and it works on objects and both. It works on objects and pictures. Anything you are doing, it works on objects and pictures a lot. So I recommend that, and I recommend that you use it. So yeah, that's what it does. Then let's close this. So that's what I've explained these effects. I've explained these effects. I'm still going to put in all these things in the description so that you don't forget. Then we have styles. Yeah, this one might not actually be for. It might not be on the what they call it, for people that are using below 2023. So but I mean, it doesn't really matter. So let's leave it like that. Okay, I think I must have. Oh, so that was the powerful stuff. That must have been a very powerful function. I don't use it, so it showed us affinity 2020. Oh, sorry, I opened the wrong affinity. Okay, sorry about that. Like I said, that function was too much, so guess it must have messed up with my system. Currently I'm not using my gaming laptop. I'm actually using my other system, so just bear with me about that. So as we were saying, so I was talking about that. So next now to talk about is stock. I thought I saw stock here just now. Okay, stock should be back. If you come back to if you go to Pixel Persona, you should see stock. So what this stock does is that now I want to show you where you can normally get images. So what happened is this: Affinity Designer, they realized that they can easily integrate online free stock images platforms. So instead of you going to your Google Chrome and start typing it and you start downloading it and bringing it here, once you have access to the internet on your laptop, you can easily get that. So first, let me undo what I've done here. So let's come here and also come to here. Let's do that. So to now do that, now you just come here to stock, right? Now this stock, let's click on I understand. So when you know I understand, you can just drag it out too. So you can just come here to stock and left click and drag out like this. When you click on understand, so it should show you something. Oh, that was a mistake, sorry. So normally should have. So after you click on understand, right, just search for the image. So let's even look for maybe a similar image like this. Let's call it black lady holding bags. Let's see what it makes. So I don't think we might have exactly like this, because I mean this lady, I didn't get that from the same website like Pixels. I got that from somewhere else. So you can come here, even Pixels, there's pixel based, so you can just search here. So when you let's say you click on what you want, just drag it out. It take a while depending on how fast your internet is, and the images are always very large, so you can see that. So you can just zoom out and reduce it. So well, we do have a black lady holding glass, but I mean it's still okay. So you see this, so you can still go ahead and do your normal editing on this picture. So it does make life easier that way, instead of you going to chrome.com and typing www.pixels.com and downloading it, or you can just search through the platform, through the software, and you find what you're looking for. So you can come here, then you can now say, okay, we want to extract this lady away, right? Just to like have more than one person in our stuff. So you can come here, select this lady totally. So after selecting now, just select that totally from here, right? Okay. Acrylic is a bit confusing, so I can't really trying to see everything. Okay, so I think we're done. Just this part. Okay. So we can select that out. So you can just reduce this a bit. We come to new layer. Alright, so you can see that. So you can just add that to our group of people here. You can even make a bit big. So I'm going to explain. Next I'm going to explain is adjustments. And I'm going to explain to you where you can get adjustments. Now, normally in your typical photo editing software or app that you normally use on your phone, you will see things like hue, saturation, black and white, RGB or RGL, HSL, all those photo editing words. So now when you come down here, right, you see all these icons. The first icon here is to mask your layer. So you click on mask layer, right? I've masked this layer now. You want to know if your layer is masked. When you click on this person, right, and you click on mask layer here now. So now it has created a mask here. So in this mask now we can do something there. We can come here and basically what this mask does is that we're able to edit something that we don't want it to show on the actual stuff. So depending on the kind of tool we use, so let's use paintbrush tool and see. So basically just to hide what you don't really want to show. I don't really use it that much because I have other ways of doing it, and that's like I'll just like maybe do two layers and do them on top of each other. But yeah, so if you want to not delete that mask, you can just come here to this. You can see that this image has been created and that pixel stuff here. So just come here and right click, then go to delete. So we're back to one layer, so it's fine. They will now have what they call adjustments. Now you see all these adjustments and different things you can do. So the first one is levels. What levels does is that it just helps us to darken or make it brighter, like just increasing the levels of the brightness or something like that. So I use it a lot actually, but I mostly use of curves I use curves a lot. So let's say you've done this now, and let's say you don't like it, you can delete it, right? Or you can reset and it just cancel. So me, I'm just deleting. That's what that part does. I'm just trying to show you what it does. The next one we have now is the white balance. Now this white balance just helps you to color it a bit like this. Then you can now take note that every of this every of this thing I'm mentioning, they all have their own blend mode. And the blend mode is always at the bottom right of their dialog box. So let's say you click on HSL, you can see it's always bottom right of the dialog box. So this is the dialog box here, bottom right. So you can play around with it and just increase it and see whether you like what you see. That's why I've made it the same color as the background. Then if you don't like it the way it is, you can just come here and try and change it a bit and see. Yeah, I can see this is looking okay. I like this. So you can click on OK. So you can click on X here. So the same thing for others. You can just try it out and you see what they do. Black and white is to make it black and white, obviously. So you can do like this, stuff like that, and it's it's perfect. So yeah. So if I go to make this an actual design, let's do something like something like this. So for this lady, I'm just gonna do black and white. Then sorry, so one more thing, just a shortcut I just did now. Now, if you select these two images, if you press Ctrl H, sorry, just press H. Oh, it's not working. It's supposed to work. Let me see. Okay, the thing really works here. Okay, you can just hide what you want to hide. So if you select these two, you hide the one that is not selected. That's what I was just trying to show you. So when I like these two images. Now let's say I want to hide this girl. I'll just press Ctrl H. So it's only the girl that will show. But in a situation whereby I want just so if I select this woman now, that means the other two they will go. Ctrl H. You see that? That's just a shortcut. So let's go back to what we are doing. So I just want to let this one show so I can take this care of this too. And you can only do it in Designer Persona actually. I'm just trying to figure that out. So you can do that in Designer Persona, not in Pixel Persona. Ctrl H only works in Designer Persona, not Pixel Persona. So let's do something here. Let's make this lady like this. If you want to now go further, we can now make her clothes. So what I'm going to do now is that I want to duplicate this lady, right? This is just normal photo editing I'm doing now. I've duplicated this lady, right? So if you want to duplicate, press Ctrl J. Highlight her and press Ctrl J. You can see twice now. So Ctrl J has done that. Then we'll now come to adjustments. No, first we'll come to the duplicated layer, right? Let's take off the black and white. Right, so our other layer is still at the back, so don't forget that. Then the one that has the color will come back here, right? Then we'll now go to recolor. So we'll go to recolor. Let's give what complements pink. Maybe this, and let's give it. Just want to see what happens. Okay, so recolor is not what I'm looking for. Apologies for that. It's not recolor I'm looking for, it's hue saturation. So let's go to HSL. Hue saturation and luminosity. That's what it means. HSL. Hue saturation and luminosity. So this one now should be able to get what I want. So just play around with it to get what you want. So I'm just looking for. This is actually nice, but this is not what I'm looking for. It's too much. So something. I want that color to pop the way it's popping now. So you can come here and just okay, yellow. Yeah, so it's making the yellow to pop. So you can come here opacity. So I think something like this basically, we've already changed that enough. So now what I'm going to do is this. Now I want to take away this part. So let's go to your eraser. Come to your eraser tool, right? So you come to your eraser tool. Just make sure that the one that you just this colored one is one that you selected on your layers. Then just come here and start erasing. Just start erasing this one. Don't erase the clothing area, by the way. Don't erase the clothing area, because we're trying to make sure that the black and white color of her is one that is showing. Alright, just try to hide as much as possible. So from the arm, so you can always take your time and do this. So I think don't forget this arm here. So I mean, some of you will pick a different picture to use, so you don't have to use my own exact picture. You can always practice with another picture, to get the idea. So now imagine we now come back here and just take away any other part that is blowing. So if we come back to this, yes, okay, come back here and we click on this again. So if you want to come back to what your effects that you've added, just click on what is beside it, right? Double click on it, so you can see that it's looking better now. Yeah, something like this. So you can just change. I mean, this helps to just change the color. That's what this hue, saturation, and luminosity does. The reason why I did not use the color is because the color was coloring everything, I mean, in a very, very plain manner, and I didn't like it. But use saturation, they differentiate. They both pick two colors and try to make sure that they apply that same pattern to whatever it is that they are, to whatever picture that they are focusing on. You can see, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So you can see this. This is perfect, isn't it? Right. Then I want to just do small work. I can come here and put something. Let's call this model. Right. So I can change this so you might not have the same font as I have here, but I'll still later on our class in this model I'll still go to release a package of fonts you can download and install. I'll teach you how to do that. So you just use any font you can find today, on your system. So that's something I'll now take it to back. You can see. So if I now want to drag it down a bit, you can just select from your layer. Make sure you select the one that's the two of our pictures that you just did now, so that you can move them together. You can even group it. Just press Ctrl G, highlight the two of them here and group them. Right? So model. So I can now all this, come to stroke, increase it from stroke, then now come to character. So when I come to character now, I can now change this black to white. Or you can change any color you want. So you can do that all through like that. different color. You can just mix it up. So I'll just make sure that okay, this can just be like a take-home assignment. So someone achieve this. When you achieve this, you can send it through me, through my mail. So I'm going to provide my mail. Just so this is going to be your assignment. So achieve something like this, and make sure that you I mean you don't have to use the same image I use or the same color. Play around with it with everything you've learned that I've taught so far to achieve this. So I'm going to just give you that as an assignment. So you just email it to me. I'll provide my email, so you can send it through my email. So that's it. That's it for this. So as promised, we'll just do a logo, so don't waste any more time. And I'm going to show you in our next class how to brand it. So the next thing to do is let us add but so we don't waste time. So I want to explain logo. Now logo, right? Logo is, like I said, logo is like an identity. That is what a brand should. Whoever that is coming up with a brand or a company, they should not take their company or their brand as something temporary. I just want to do this and get on with it. A brand is like the only lifeline you have. It's just like the same way you have your CV. When you submit your CV for a job, the people that are receiving your CV, they don't know you personally, but the CV can make them know the kind of person you are professionally. That is the same way your branding is. Branding, people don't really know you or know what you have in mind, but your brand, your logo will speak to those people that okay, this is what this person does. This is what this person does. So I'm just going to explain the 3 to 4 kinds of logos that we have. So the first one is that we have a logo. The first logo that we have I call it symbolic logo. Sorry, I call it symbolic. So let me take away I have what they call symbolic logo. A logo can be symbolic. A logo can be illustrative. Right? A logo can be typographic or text, basically. Then a logo can be symbolic, illustrative, typographic, and it can also, the last one is that it can also be both. A logo can be typographic and illustrative at the same time. It can be these 3 at the same time, all in one. So that's the last one I was going to mention. So now, what do I mean by symbolic? Now, Apple's logo. Apple logo is an example of symbolic. You don't see, I'm sure you've never seen like an Apple logo that has the Apple sign and has Apple beside it. Once you just see the Apple logo, you know who they're talking about. Or the Windows logo, you already know who they're talking about. They don't need to put it beside. But although Windows, they have their own beside it also. They have a particular one where they put the icon, the symbolic one, and what is beside it. Now, that is a symbolic logo, and that symbolic logo is also illustrative. But now, example of illustrative logo, we have example of illustrative logo is the logo for Puma. Is it Puma? The logo for Puma, I think is something. Yeah, logo for Puma is actually a sign of illustrative, because that Puma, the tiger, the Puma, the symbolic cat that is jumping, right? It was made. It was illustrated. Someone drew it one way or the other. Someone drew it as a vector. One way or the other, somebody drew it. Then we also have typographic. Example of typographic is example of a typographic logo I'm thinking of is what's the name of this company? Example of typographic. We have something like I don't know if you people know this, but I call it, there's a company called Jumia. There's a company called Konga. They have this typographic kind of logo. Typographic meaning that you are just using a text but that text somehow still feels like a logo. So I'm going to be working on these 3 things today. So remember, symbolic, illustrative, and typographic. So how do we achieve these 3? So first, I'm going to break this down. I'm going to do all the 3 like this. So let me create a symbolic logo. So I'm just going to think of a random name for my head and create a logo like that. So let us call this a company that creates cameras, like all these CCTV cameras, right? So the first thing we're going to do now, one of the most important thing about logo is that first, it's important to do your logo first in black and white. Before you start thinking of colors, just make it black and white first. Right? Just make it black and white. Let me just make this one black. There's no black to me. First, make it black and white. So I'm creating like a camera symbolic icon, right? So like this. Now I have white inside, like this. Then let's see how does the camera look again. So I can go in a bit, right? Then we now have this. Let's call this company optic verse. Let's call it optic verse, right? A company that uses camera for the metaverse, something like that. I'm not really good with names. So now how can we make this different a bit? Let's come here. Let's create something like this. Put it in, then put the radius. So as you can see, I'm creating something different. It's still looking like the regular camera, but it needs to feel special, right? So I'm going to click this. I'm going to click these 2 shapes I just created. Let's try and subtract and see what happens. So this, then we can let's still add our rectangle. Then do this. Now, of course, camera always have something maybe like a sensor or something here. Since we're talking about a smart camera, let us have something like a sensor here. Most times, some people don't. Most times it's not compulsory. You must put detail by detail on the logo, though. But if that's how you feel, one thing you need to understand that when you're about to create a logo, what you need to know is, number one, get information such as, okay, what's the brand name? What is the brand all about? You understand? And if when you ask what the brand is all about, they tell you what the brand is. They say, oh, the brand is an e-commerce company that does so and so. Your mind should be going to different places, right? You should also make sure that your mind is focusing on these 3 things I just spoke about: symbolic, illustrative, and typographic. Make sure that your mind is going there, because it's something that will help you when you start working on the project. So yeah. So let me create this shape again. Let me use something else. Where's that teardrop? Something like this. So this is symbolic. There's nothing I've not added any text or anything. It's just plain like this, symbolic, right? Now we want to make this this also illustrative. We've killed 2 birds with 1 stone, right? But if now I want to give this one to make it look more illustrative, you can add something like this. Let's add something like legs. Trying to make it more. So you can see illustrative, meaning that I am creating it myself. I'm not relying on any SVG online or any existing stuff online. So this is going to be like a stand. Then we're gonna have like legs like this. So, but I always prefer that it's best to give and make sure if you're creating a logo, make sure that your clients, right? Make sure you are giving them multiple choices. Don't just come up with this idea with this one now. Come up with two or three different choices for them, or four. I normally give my clients 4 different choices so that they know that okay, they can pick this, they can pick this. But if you're just doing one, you're not really giving them so much to work with. So because we call it optic verse, right? So you can, if it's optic verse, you can just turn this. I mean, this piece like this already looks like V. I mean, verse is with V. Verse starts with a V, so it's only fair that we do that for you. Consider that I was thinking of something before, but something better came to mind. So that's how it is. We are doing it. So that you can just do a rough sketch on paper, but because this is like a tutorial thing I'm doing here, I don't want to waste so much time on that. So it's not looking so neat in my eye. I don't know. So what you can now do is this. You can come to text. Let's create a letter V. Right. So my letter V now is a text already. So I'm just going to convert this to curve. How do I do that? Maybe I thought you had to convert to curve. You can just come here. You can either click on convert to curve here, or just press Ctrl Enter. So I've converted it to curve now. So it's no longer a text. So I'll come here, then I can now start manipulating this because I want to make sure that I'm accurate as much as possible. So let's do something like this. I think it's more neater this way actually. Yeah. The way it works. Trying to just find the center. Let's reduce this part a bit. So I just want to create more space in the center for the. And here we can maybe. Okay, we can just leave it the way it is actually. Or we can just like create something under, like a stand and just hold it. Then make sure that you increase the border, the radius, sorry. So I just wanted to make sure I cover on the logo. So this is just a random logo I came up with. So now because this one is illustrative, let's just add the name to it, right? So your name can either be like sideways, depending on what you want. Optic. I might need more space, sorry. I'm gonna need more, so maybe I should just do everything in one line. I don't have the one line, so make sure that your icon is not so bigger than your text. I mean, I'm trying to make sure that people see the name. As this logo is like this, I can still add like a bit of typographic logo on it, but that would be too much. That would be overkill. But just administrative, it's fine. So what I can just do is this. Let us keep it simple and leave it like this. Yeah. Or you can just leave it under. Most times, you know, just like to put it under like this. Object verse. So these are illustrative. So just something like this is fine. Symbolic. Then typographic now we have something like, I'm just going to still take this. But now this one now, so what I'm going to do now. Now imagine me just taking away this O. Right, I'm pretty sure most of you must have thought of the same thing. So then moving this O here. So this alone has killed everything. Then the view will just come under like this. Is that not it? This is typographic already. So you can just bring this. No, I mean that I just don't want that place like empty or something. So it's just a wild. I mean, logo is just about your own creativity. So you can. So the second assessment I'll just give you is to come up with your own, and just think of a brand name. It can even be your own personal brand, you know. Think of a brand name, because this is just the logo I'm doing. I'm still going to teach you brand identity in our next class. So this can just come in like this. So I'm trying to find more styles I can use. But this can work as a tripod. This can be like the tripod. So yeah, this is fine. So this typographic. You see, typographic is like we're still making use of text, but we are merging the text with a bit of what we have for illustrative and symbolic. So yeah, so this is what I mean, right? So I'm going to share this file online. I mean on the comments below. So maybe you guys can go through it and, you know, get ideas. So that is it. So we managed to do a bit of photo editing and manipulation here. Then we're able to do this. So this is just the basics design stuff I did here. It's no big deal, because we're still going to enter actual photo manipulation and design. Okay, so that's just it. So this is a logo that we've done here, and this is a normal post. So my own assessment of what I've given you guys is for you guys to come up with a design for this. Then also come up with your own logo. Make sure you state which one is symbolic, which one is illustrative, and which one is typographic. So that is it for this session. In our next session, we'll be talking about brand identity documents, you know, and we'll get to explore more with the tools that we have introduced you to. So all the tools I've introduced you to, we'll get to see more about that. So thanks for tuning today. Thanks for joining today's class, you know, and please, if you have any questions, I am in the comment section below. Feel free to drop a comment. Feel free to, you know, ask me anything. I'm there to answer you. So I want to say thank you and see you in the next class. So there you have it, guys. Today was a wonderful and productive session, and today we're able to cover Pixel Persona, understanding those tools in Pixel Persona. As I said, those tools in Pixel Persona, they are used to actually manipulate images. You know, just your images, like the word said, Pixel Persona. And we're also able to cover a bit of photo editing and, you know, a bit of maybe graphic design in one or two images, and I gave an assessment. So please make sure you do the assessment. I gave 2 assessments because we're also able to cover logo design. And this is just logo design because in our next class we'll be talking about brand identity, and now we can actually package our logo in such a way that, I mean, it will actually like look like a standard company's document, you know. So I used a dummy company name called Opticverse. So I want you to come up with your own brand name and design a logo for it. From everything I've explained in this class, I want you to follow exactly. I mean, you can try to understand this even from this to this class that we just did, and I hope that we're also able to like learn one or few things from it. And make sure that you if you are a newcomer, make sure that you go through our previous videos, the previous videos that I've dropped, part 1, part 2, and the intro to affinity design. Please make sure that you get this assessment and you send this assessment to my email. I'll provide my email address, so ensure that you send in your work there. So like I said, 2 things you are doing. Number 1 is the photo editing stuff that we did in the class, and the number 2 is the logo design. So do these 2 things and send it to me through my email. I'll be waiting to receive your assessments. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow for more, and you know, keep on supporting this channel, because I know a lot of people will learn from this. If you have loved ones, if you have people who you feel that they have the potential of becoming designers and you are looking for a way to get them started, this channel is the right place for you to come to. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and you know, follow for more. And I'll be waiting in the comment section if you have any questions. I'm waiting in the comment section to answer your questions, and I'll also be dropping in my description below. I'll be dropping those links that you can find stock images, places you can use, but I will suggest you just stick with the one that Affinity has given you for now, you know, before you can start exploring other places. So please learn to make sure that you practice more and you'll be better. So thank you, and see you in the next session. God bless.